doing interviews. You'll find her with celebrities and all the latest news. She's here, she's there, she's everywhere, she's always on the go. So sit back, relax, and get ready. This is the Corey Taylor Talks Show.
Hello everybody. Welcome to Corey Taylor Talks, live from Las Vegas. I am joined by Alita with Celebrate Your Talent, which I was just recently introduced to at the Enchant Festival here in Las Vegas, which was absolutely beautiful. But we were passing by and I saw your booth, and it was so cool. It was so unique. No one else had anything like it. And then I really learned about what you do and your foundation. I was so happy, and I was like, oh my gosh, we have to get them on the show. So I'm so happy that you're finally here and we can talk about it. So hi,
thank
how
you.
are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you very much. It's nice to be here, and I appreciate your invitation.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, we're very excited to have you. So why don't you tell people a little bit about what Celebrate Your Talent is?
Okay, Celebrate Your Talent is a 501c3 nonprofit that is dedicated to, on the website I say, active beauty. So it's like going from the page and making things real and including the feelings rather than getting them lost. And so originally it was to work with twice exceptional students. Twice exceptional people sometimes are misdiagnosed or it'll be ADHD plus dyslexia, things like that go together. But when you look at the broader picture, it's not a problem, it's just a characteristic. And so as we kind of expand out, we realized that the nonprofit needs to be inclusive.
Yeah.
In fact, I was looking up recently to make sure I was doing it right, because I like to make sure I get things right. The government has T's to cross and I's to dot, but when I looked up the original part of a 501c3 or the nonprofits when it was started, it was a long time ago. It was after the wars, I think, and the American Red Cross was one of the first ones. So it was a community project that helped a particular group instead of so isolated, like to me it seems like it's become.
Yeah.
And so we'd like to be able to be inclusive. I had an experience where recently we were working with the groups as an invite, and as we were passing out these packages, I could just see that the parents that were receiving these packages and building these packages through the corporate sponsor, they wanted to include it. They wanted to take one home, and I wanted to allow them to take one home, but it wasn't my party, so to speak. And so I really thought that it would be nice for the whole family and the whole community to be involved, not just that one group. And it did turn out at Enchant it was that way. It was an idea that I had, and Enchant really gave us an opportunity to see those ideas come to life.
Okay.
I'm a data person, so yes, it works. No, it doesn't. What can we blend? How to. But numbers are important, right? Because they give us a sense of direction. And Enchant was really nice. It was really interesting.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
My question is, from the booth when you saw it, I don't know how to describe what people felt seeing it. To me, I was putting things together, and I know why, but I don't understand their side. Many people would come by, they would take a picture. It was a feeling that I don't have words for, but maybe you do.
Yeah, it was, like I said, it was just so unique. First of all, the whole Enchant is absolutely beautiful, and all the booths are really cool, but yours was just so unique. I don't know, it just really stood out. I'm very much like an energy person and stuff, and it was, like you said, it was just kind of this different energy, and it felt good and warm and welcoming. And I believe it was your son, am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was there, and it was just so different, and I wanted to check it out, and when we actually got to see, and the ornament packages we got. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to actually make them, but we wanted to buy them, and so it was just this whole different energy. I don't know how to explain it. It was just a really beautiful energy to it, you know?
That's interesting, yeah. And it's interesting you say that you didn't have time to make the package, because in reviewing my thoughts, I was wondering how many people took a piece home but didn't get it done, which means that the setting itself had a certain energy to it that helped, that people wanted to participate, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah, no, we did do it actually. We did do it, but no, it was just all the, like you said, the Enchant itself is a beautiful place, and the whole feeling there is great. But your booth really just stood out a lot.
Oh,
and,
that's nice.
And I honestly don't know if we really stopped at many other booths, but yours just really stood out to us.
It's a combination of a lot of ideas. I just kind of pull them together over the years, comments that people have, and mostly the gifted group. I've spent a lot of my time, even through my college years, I guess we're all kind of put on a path, and mine has always been around the gifted group. So different languages have different names for the group. In Spanish, they're called sobresalientes, meaning going beyond or extraordinary and things like that. And one comment from one time was that they loved the performing arts, but they would like it to be a little more interactive now.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, what does that look like? A little more interactive. So Enchant was really a way to connect in that sense.
Yeah.
Not just going around and seeing the beautiful lights and seeing the booths and things, but actually being able to sit and do and feel a part of it, like being able to touch it almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm so glad you were there, and I really hope the word got out more for your charity as well.
Oh, we did, yeah, we did quite a bit, and mostly the ideas get flowing, and I think that's one area that I would like to be able to push past in nonprofits right now. As an administrator, most of the things that I get come on donations, getting donations, marketing donations, on and on. And usually that involves money.
Right.
Or grant writing,
Right.
and all of those things are very important.
Absolutely.
But there's another side that's just as important that's kind of not been as balanced lately, and that's the ideas of people. Like, for example, what story could we do? How to get a hold of certain people.
Yeah.
Even though you write an email, doesn't mean everyone is so busy. I think everyone would respond if they could, but we're so somewhat bombarded with information, it's hard to get to each person. But on our website, if you go now, it's got the landing page / click through things. But I intentionally made that so that someone could personally, it sends an email directly to me with a way that they would like to participate. Yeah. And I think on the simplest ways, something like a story I like, my grandmother liked this story, a picture, because many people don't have words, and all of a sudden, a picture, since the emojis came out, a picture is really helpful. So just a picture, but anything that kind of gives the energy of knowing that people hear you, but also knowing where you can go. Yeah. And I'm kind of a flow through. It's because a nonprofit, of course, is not mine. It belongs to the community. But just sort of a flow through of ideas, too. And just trying to get those ideas flowing will be great. Yeah. It's something that money actually can't buy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was really surprised that in trying to figure out what story to do next, because I can lay out logistically where we'd like to go and the business plan and all of that. But when it came down to something as simple as, well, what story should we do next? Yeah. And I asked one adult, and they weren't sure. And I asked another adult, and these are all professionals, and just kind of everyone. Well, what story should we do? Well, that's a great question. Yeah. There's so many out there, and all these things. Then I asked one girl that she was from UNLV, and she was working there. She said, I don't know, maybe something from the North, Norse things. I was like, yeah, and then I asked myself, I was like, it's hard to pin down things. Right. And so anyone that had sort of like a story they would like to see to come to life, that of course is E for everybody, that's what I call it, E for everybody, would be great to have that kind of input.
And so can we talk about the stories here? I see you have some, yes. Yeah,
and it's interesting. I'm shy to show these because of the special need, well, it's not special needs, the extraordinary group out there, the autistic, the Downs, the nonverbals. Mm-hmm. So as I was working through my things, it was really, and we call it beyond words. The little canvas that was made could go beyond words. Even I couldn't even look at some of them and have one word that would describe it. And yet when we put things into a book, we're putting them into a setting, we're putting them into a page reading, page numbered, turn, squared thing. And I just want to say, as I show the books, these are just idea starters.
Okay.
And that's exactly where I would like to take things back to.
Gotcha.
So one of our books is Snowmen at Night, which I thought was it's a really fun book when I was a teacher. But the beauty of it is that it's got all these snowmen. Do you know the book?
No, I don't actually. I wish
I'll give
I
you
did.
that's okay. I'll give you a brief synopsis. Anyway, the snowmen, when you're out and you're driving around, you see snowmen and they look great. Then you see them the next day and they're all slumped over.
Right.
So this book kind of says what goes on at night when you're asleep and why they look like that in the morning. And so it's kind of fun how they're playing in the park and they're doing all these things when we're asleep. They kind of come to life.
Very
So for any school teacher, if they would like that, we have the kind of going from enchant, what we were gifted through them, is the ability to make these snowmen, and we call these a level 1 project. So whether it's an elderly home, a senior facility, the PICU at children's, or the NICU for parents, right, something to stay engaged, they just stick them on. They come pre-crafted, and it's intentionally that simple so that it's just the fun of sticking it on and nothing else. There's nothing to get wrong. And with this book, of course, it's really great because all of the snowmen at the end are all over the place. So there is absolutely no way to get it wrong. It's just perfect. And those are the types of things that we would really like to see, because a few of the people that did come to the booth, I had never seen them before in my life. But I did see them. They're called the invisible, I'll say differently abled, because I don't believe in disabled.
Right.
It's differently abled. Okay, but they're called invisible because, not like my Down son, where you see physical characteristics that indicate to you that there's something different there. The invisible are perfectly normal, and they seem almost beyond normal. So this one person that was there was almost model-like, right? And you didn't know until they did the craft that they were seeing things differently.
Interesting.
And yeah, it was so cool. So it would be fun to see what they can do with the books. And so I can show a book. So some of the ideas that I get, I really like Jan Brett. One of the reasons Celebrate Your Talent was made as a nonprofit was so that we can get past or get through copyright type things.
Yeah.
Anyone who needs a permission or a receipt for their work at their professional price, so to speak, has that ability to have it. I know a lot of people are worried about copyright and things like that, but and it is scary. If you didn't know, it would be scary.
Right.
But the idea is to open things up, not to be afraid. And so I like her book. This one's an Indian tale, but it's just all of the way that it's kind of the colors and the life kind of like jumping into the story like we jumped into Enchant.
Absolutely.
And off the side, though, here, you have the little thing here where you can sort of focus. And I didn't realize, I hadn't seen these books in years, but I didn't realize when I was setting it up, I was setting up Enchant for a time thing. In a 4x4 square, you can only do so much.
Right.
In a 3x3 square, you can do, and it was more for me for time so that people would stop by and parents would take the time to do the craft. I didn't realize that it also gives a focus, which is really fun. So that's where that kind of idea came from.
Well, good. No, I'm so glad, and I really think, like I said, it was just a different energy, and your son was so. Just everyone there at your booth was just so beyond. It just like I said, it had a good vibe, good energy, whatever you want to call it, and I'm really happy that we ran into you and I got to learn more about it, and it's really amazing.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that the nonprofit does, we have some volunteers that came from the National Charity League. I'm honestly a shy person. I know it doesn't seem like it, and I put on my non-shy face, but it's, when you grow up that way, because giftedness never goes away, and they call it gifted, and now that's even, a label. So getting away from label. When I was a kid, there weren't labels. There was fast, medium, and slow, and it was towards what you were doing, not towards the person. But we worked with the volunteers, and where was I going with that? I forgot. It'll come back to me.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We'll get there. But no, I'm just, like I said, I'm really happy that I learned about this.
It came back to me.
Okay,
So,
good. Yeah.
because of your age and the volunteers worked with their mothers. So it's a mother-daughter volunteer organization that's national. And I was telling them, they were I think they were between 12 and 18, some of them. And it was really nice. I was able, because the booth looks like it's for little kids or little crafters or something like that. But the other part of Celebrate Your Talent is teaching business.
Yeah.
So when they were able to come on, it was able to show them Enchant. They could walk and see the demographics. They could see the people that were coming in. And they could begin to understand the grouping of business in a, I would like to say, in a more hands-on way, a more realistic way, and I hope that they benefited from that. The way that things come together and groups working together, because everything seems for, I don't want to say your age group, but you are in an age group, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And for people who go forward, even from 16 or 12, there's child actors that are doing, they're just able to do so much. But things are grouped, and understanding how things are grouped and how they do connect and how they flow, I think makes people feel more comfortable when they do it. My mom used to say that, we teach kids confidence, be confident, show that smile, to sit up, be confident.
Right.
But my mom was really kind of is really kind of magical. And she would say, honey, it's more about comfort. She goes, confidence is a reflection of your comfort with what you're doing. And so Celebrate Your Talent looks to make people comfortable in what they're doing, wherever they are, and whenever they are. So while we have little kids coming up with tech that we've never seen before, we have elderly that are sometimes not allowed to do what they're capable of because they're losing their words. And I don't think that it's has any bad intention, but just the fear that comes with a new stage can sometimes make people cautious.
Of course.
So breaking through that cautiousness in a way that people are comfortable is something we really look to do.
God, I'm very glad. I think it's just an amazing, amazing charity, and you're an amazing person. You can tell you just have a good heart, and my whole show is focusing on positive, good things and good people, especially in Vegas. And I'm just so happy we have you and to learn about the charity, and it's just incredible. So.
Well, if we have time, let's see some more about you. How did you end up with a podcast at your age?
Oh, actually, I started when I was 15. So I'm an actor. That's my main thing in life. And I was a guest on someone else's show, and so they offered me my own show after I was a guest because they had a lot of good reaction and stuff, and it just kind of grew from there. So.
Oh, that's very exciting.
Yeah.
And what do you think about acting now for people your age? I guess a little bit more about me. I have 7 children. Oh, wow. And as my children were growing up, we were in Dallas at the time. We started in Chicago. We were in Dallas. All of my kids, except for one, were homeschooled. And all of them, I just felt that I was there to support their path. So I have 2 gymnasts. I have dancers.
Wow.
One of them was an actor. And so some of these things came from me being the parent with him. Yeah. Actually, I'm Barney. It was so cool. When you saw behind Barney, you got to see where all the sets were like boxed up.
Yeah.
I mean, an organization like I've never seen before. Then you would see the plan for the day. I forgot what they call it. The call times for the day. Anyway.
Right.
And what was even cooler, it happened to be in Dallas. They were flying around the studio in scooters because people needed to get quickly from one place to another.
That's
and not many people get to see that, but it just felt so comfortable that it was okay to be fast. It was okay to understand more. It was okay to learn more, and it felt really comfortable in a group like that.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to fit into something that's very difficult to fit into, like sitting still in a chair and what to do with someone who's just kicked you, right? It's just yes, it's a different space, but it's how did you get into acting?
I went to an elementary school if that was acting, and my mom, she was very big into the singing community, and my sister was dancing, and then I did acting. So it's kind of, I just always been very lucky with my mom, and she's always been very supportive as well as my sister. So we just kind of, we cover all the bases, I guess.
That's nice.
Community. Yeah, so it's been good. So.
Well, one of the things I would like to be able to include in Celebrate Your Talent as we begin to sort of branch out, I would like like to be able to have a lecture series, but maybe that's old. Maybe a podcast series or something where we could invite some people that have been past fear, people that have for the younger age group, in order to take back acting and have the fear left behind, because a lot of moms like me got really cautious, and we weren't afraid, just not quite knowing how to muddle through the mess, I guess. Sometimes I call it quicksand, not to get stuck in the quicksand, right? Yeah. And being able to do that and guide people through professional anything at this point with young people is a real effort on our part to keep people safe.
Yeah.
I have gotten to the point that if I talk to the angels or whatever we want to call them, but I'll say I need help keeping people safe. It's unfair to talent people up and then not be able to at least give them clues on what to look for. And so it would be fun for me to be able to sponsor someone or be able to have someone like Shia LaBeouf or people who have been through and made it through that can tell us, it was ugly, but it's worth keeping. This is what I would avoid. This is what I would do differently looking back. And I think sometimes those people aren't asked because of their age. They're so young, right? But to me, the wisdom of youth, having been a child actor, coming through the transition and then moving into other areas and being able to stay in is a real strong character. Most people get scared off and leave. Most parents get scared off and leave. But we do need people to stay and to be able to go forward and share with us that wisdom.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think that's a great idea. And like I said, your charity, I think it's just going to grow. And I think it's so wonderful that you're behind it. And you have such brilliant ideas. And I can't wait to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, so. It'll be fun. I finally got a hold of Tivoli today because we want to move to Tivoli. I would really like to see Tivoli here in Las Vegas, the area we call Tivoli, turn into an emerging performing arts center.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I guess, acting has just brought so much patience to a person like me. My one son that was acting, he would say, I would say, how'd the audition go? And I'm like on a pass-fail. I played tennis. It's in, it's out. Hit it harder. All those kind of things that I grew up with. And he was like, "No, I'm not going to get it." I was like, "Are you sure?" He goes, "No, I'm sure." He goes, "They were making a family of redheads. My hair is blonde." I was like, "Can they?" He goes, "No, they don't paint people's hair like that generally." He goes, and then he would just shake it. He was like, "It's okay. There'll be another one." And so his ability to be patient like that has helped me going, "It's okay. I just send out an email. It's just a feeler.
Right.
I don't need the answer immediately. I wasn't, if I don't get it, I'm not a failure. It just means that it hasn't gotten to the right place at the right time." And I think those are such amazing qualities that can be taught by people who have been to acting and audition and things like that. And it's something that the rest of us could use more of because we're so driven, go, And I think it's just a really nice time for that to be able to bloom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's great. And what's your website too? Because I know, like you said, people, they obviously can donate, but if they have even ideas for you, just any way they want to help.
Yeah, or connect us to people that they know someone. Las Vegas is so awesome. It's so small.
Yes.
That people know people. And it's so magical. You can be in an event and someone very important ends up sitting at your table.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow. I couldn't have. I don't need to know how. It's just magical. Our website is celebrateyourtalent.org.
Awesome. It's very simple enough, and people can just keep up to date with everything and reach out in any way they want to help.
Yeah, so, I was just filling out. Hopefully, we'll be able to do the things at the Highland Games. I don't know if you've ever been to the Highland Games. Oh, it's so much fun. So it's the bands and the drums and the pipes. It's at Craig Ranch, and that's the next thing I think that we're looking at.
Awesome.
I think the Renaissance Fair would be fun because there was the magic that you talk about, and other people would come by. I remember this one man that came, and he just wanted to take a picture. Yeah. And in my mind, I'm like, what is it? Because it's just a picture. And I think it's the feel of being incorporated into the story. Yeah. In your own normal self. Yeah. So it's not, and since it's not a set and it's not behind something that no one else can get to, it's something that's there. It's really fun. So the Renaissance Fair, the Highland thing, and that's, I think we're going to look at that. I was looking at the craft fairs. Some of them are very difficult because when you get to the business side, if it's $200 for a table at the farmer's market, I have to look and make sure that the price point will cover, and that's what the business side, right? The price point can cover. Will we sell enough to cover, or will we be at a loss? And if we're at a loss, is that good business? Where is it going to be made up?
Right.
At the same time, I could raise the price, but then it becomes exclusionary because sometimes, especially people with big families, how do you do that? And, it's a love-hate relationship with Walmart, but honestly, Walmart is a five and dime that still has a little bit for everyone, right? And so, or Hobby Lobby, where a lot of our things came from. When you're looking at Hobby Lobby, it's the same thing. It needs to be affordable for people to be able to participate. We want to keep that. But I do think that the fairs or the festivals might be a great way to sort of at least keep going. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I'm just so excited for you guys, and it's celebrateyourtalent.org.
Yes,
And I just hope and everyone that can help and they want to help and get involved in any way they can go there. And I'm just so thankful that you're on, and I'm thankful we connected. And
thank you.
Thank you guys for watching. Please, any way you can help and support, like you said, even if you don't have the money, just your time.
Yeah, just time,
offer.
ideas. Yes. We're so full of ideas, and ideas can all be put to even silly ideas can do so much good for people, and having those ideas and being able to work them out gives an example for everyone else. The whole thing just kind of creates a positive feedback loop on how we can learn and grow and continue, and kind of bloom. Bloom is a good word.
That's it. And thank you guys so much for watching. Please go and support them. And remember, never give up, always believe, and you'll achieve. Thank you, and God bless.